Here we go. All right. So this is weird. I don't like this setup. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Better. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our goal setting Zoom. I'm so excited to be on here with you guys. I'm even more excited that Kellie Hoover joined me because what you guys may or may not know about Kellie Hoover, she's a 200K on our team, and she used to be in pharmaceutical sales and was very well, what's the word I want to say, like high up, did very well. And when she decided to become a Lavelle promoter full-time, which was like just a year ago, right? It's been like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Gosh, time's flying. But when she decided to become a Lavelle promoter, I have learned so much from Kellie because there are some really great things that the corporate world does teach you along the way. And one of those is generally, what's your goal, right? When I think of pharmaceutical sales and any of my friends that are pharma reps, I mean, they're like, okay, this is how much product you need to sell and it needs to get out there. And like, how are you going to achieve that? And so really, sometimes I think when we're in these businesses and we're our own bosses and this is our own business, we don't set goals for ourselves. And it is highly important that we set goals for ourselves. So before we even get this launch off today, oh, hold on, guys, if you're not on mute, can you please mute yourself out? That way we have a clear recording for all the people who could not join us today. Let me hit mute all. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I was reading a little bit over the last couple of weeks about why goals are important. And if you guys have never seen, I think it was a Harvard study that was done. It talked about how people who write goals have a higher percentage of achieving the goals. I love also, if you guys haven't seen Steve Harvey, is one of my all-time favorites, but he always does a little speech before he starts Family Feud. And he did one speech all about vision boards. And if you don't speak it into existence, it won't happen. And he actually used the Bible to reference Habakkuk 2:2. And in there it says, write it clear so it will happen. Write it clear so it will happen. So you've got to write these things down. And he even said in this little speech that he did, all the things I've ever wanted, I have written down and then they came true. And now I don't need anything. He's like, anything that I, from here this day forward, is a want, a desire. He's like, and they are still big and bold and exciting, but they might not be about the same things that they were about before. So even when you get to where you want to be, you don't stop writing goals, guys. They're so important. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. That's a Zig Ziglar quote that I love. So maybe that's one that you want to write down, guys. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. That's such a good one. All right, so I'm going to go through some really quick. I swear it will be quick. I'm going to do it super fast. 5 reasons that Forbes magazine swears you need goals, okay? Here's the 5 reasons. Number 1, goals trigger behavior, right? And this was a huge slap in the face for me because I started thinking, like, I always set goals in my business. I'm really good about it. My vision board's all about it, which we'll be talking about next week. But guess what? I never write them about my own personal weight journey. And that's something that I struggle with all the time. I go up, I go down, I go up, I go down. But maybe that's where the goals need to be written also for me. It's not just in my business. So the second one is goals guide your focus. Whatever the mind believes, the body achieves. Body follows the mind. That's why it's so important to write it down, right? It's why affirmations are important. Number 3, goals sustain momentum. Seeing progress releases dopamine, and that attains your reward. So when you hit your reward, when you hit what your goal was, you get a huge shot of dopamine in your body, guys. That's huge. It's exciting. That's why we should reward ourselves when we hit goals, right? Number 4, goals align your focus. Align focus with the behavior because you get feedback on your progress. So as you're going through these, and we're going to talk about this today, Kellie's going to talk about it when she talks about SMART goals. But as you're going there, you've got to figure out, how am I going to get to that goal? And as you're getting those stepping stones, which is so important as we look at Q4, which is the first 4 months of 2019, January, February, March, April, what are the stepping stones to get you there? Maybe your goal is to be 80K by the time we get to Fort Worth so that you're an 80K at that conference. Well, what are you going to do in January, February, March, and then April to get there? It's not just an overnight thing, right? Number 5, last but not least, goal setting promotes self-mastery. Achieving goals builds character. It helps unearth and identify what's truly important to you. So that's another thing you guys really need to think about. If you don't know what's truly important to you, if you don't know what drives you, excites you, makes you excited to think about the possibilities, if you've never been a dreamer, guys, get in touch with yourself over the next few days. Journal it out. What brings you passion? What brings you excitement? And I will say that Lavelle is the vehicle and the means to get that. Okay. Yes, Lavelle makes me excited. I love the people. I love the energy. I love the product. The product's done amazing things for me, but selling the product doesn't give me the energy. It's those stories that I get back that gives me the energy. The stories when somebody says thank you to me and shares that story with me, wow. So what that means is my why is really about helping others. It's really about the excitement I get when somebody thanks me for being caring and loving and sharing something with them. I also really get excited when I hit a goal or other people hit a goal. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that I love maybe doing the business every single day. It means I love reaching goals and helping other people achieve success. That's my why. That's my vision. That's my heart. So you've got to figure out and unearth what's truly important to you and make sure that's aligning with your goals as well. And here's a question I want you all to write down. Okay. And if you didn't bring paper and pen with you, best lesson of the year. Always have paper and pen with you. Or actually for me, it's paper and pencil because I love pencil. But always be ready to take notes. And if you are driving or you're not able to do that right now, totally fine. We're glad you're here, but go back and listen to the recording later because I want this at the top of a journal entry for you. If time and money were not an issue, what would you achieve? If time and money were not an issue, what would you achieve? What would be your desire? That's one. Another journal prompt I want you to write is, what is truly important to me? And the last one is, what excites me? Like, what gets you energized and excited and pumped, right? What is that? Okay. All right. So today it's going to be all about us helping you guys break down your goals. I just want to show you guys really quick before we get started. I was thinking about it the other day when Kelly and I were talking about doing this. And I thought, what do I do? My husband and I, we do this every quarter with our kids. We do vision board, which I'll tell you guys about a special Zoom I'm going to do next week because setting your goal then allows you to set up the vision board, right? And so we do our own goals personally, my husband and I, and then we work with our kids on it. And how do I do that? And so I kind of put it down on paper for the first time ever. So we'll have this super cool PDFs, a couple of them actually for you guys. And we'll put them up on the team pages so you guys can keep them and have them and they're for you. But what I really do is I even break it down. So am I writing this goal about my family life? Am I writing this goal about my personal track? Or am I writing this goal about my business? And today's going to be all about business. So I would circle business. And then there's some things on here that are really important. You don't have to write this down because you're going to get this sheet for yourself. But I really want you to spend the next 3 days writing down on this sheet. You might write it. You might say, that's not true. That's not honest. I'm going to rip it up and get a new one. Okay. Maybe print off a couple. It might even be your journals for a few couple days. But I want you to hear about some of the questions that are on here. Okay, one of them I already did with you. What would I want to experience in my life if time and money were not an issue? My big goal for this year with your completion date. Okay, that's for the whole year of 2019. That might be, here's mine, guys. I'm just going to put it out there. I want to make sure I have $150,000 in the bank. Okay, because my husband and I both foresee the real estate market changing over the next couple of years, and people aren't going to be able to afford the houses anymore, and then they're going to have to drop, and when they drop is when you want to swoop in and buy as many as you can, right? And so that's my goal, is to have $150,000 cash in the bank by the end of the year. So that means I have to make a lot if I'm going to pay taxes and I'm going to do all our expenses and whatever, right? A goal we'll be achieving this quarter is, so then I have to break that down smaller. What do I need to achieve in Q1, which is January, February, March, and April, in order to get to that goal? How much do I need to save from now until then? Steps to achieving this goal this quarter. And then it gives you 4 spots for you to write down 4 different things I'm going to do. I know exactly how much I need to increase my volume in order to make certain commissions every single week. Do you? Do you know how much you need to do? So that's a really big one. And don't put into play all these amazing bonuses, right? Like Carrie just said, they did everything this month except double, triple. She's like, I bet they're going to do that. And then boom, they did it. But we don't expect it, right? So we want to make sure that we're putting our goals. And then if something awesome happens, like a bonus or all these other things, it's like gravy. 2 things that I'm willing to give up to achieve this goal this quarter. This is always the hardest one for me. Okay, because I love watching The Housewives. I do love my girl time. And I'm not telling you guys to get rid of all those things. I want you guys to hear me very clearly. But I did pull back. So when I first started with Lavelle, here's a great example. Yep, Kelly, perfect. So when I first started with Lavelle, I was going over to one of my really closest friends who lives in my neighborhood every single Wednesday night. I would go over to her house and we would watch 2 hours of Housewives. Because any of you guys that know the Real Housewives, they kind of overlap. So there's never just like one season going on at once. It's like the like Housewives of OC are going on at the exact same time as the Housewives of New York. Okay. So they kind of overlap. So we would I would go over to her house, drink a glass of wine every Wednesday night and watch TV with her for 2 hours. So we would record it. And some of our other friends would come sometimes, but like she and I every week. When I started with Lavelle, I had a really big goal. I saw the opportunity here. I still see what I can achieve in the first 10 years of this business that will allow me to have a completely fun retirement plan with my husband, AKA travel the world, seeing my team internationally and enjoying my husband and meeting people all over the world. Like, I can't think of anything that would be more fun than that, right? My kids are off at college. They're doing their own thing. We own this house outright by then, and I just get to travel the world with Ryan and meet all the people on my team and go to locals all the time. Like, that to me would be icing on a cake. So for me, I had to give that up. So now I do still watch The Housewives, but I watch it by myself when I can fit it in. Like maybe while I'm riding my Peloton bike, or maybe while I'm cooking dinner, it's on while I'm like cooking dinner and getting things ready. So I've given that up. Another thing that I gave up is trying to be in complete control over everything in my house. Okay, I want you guys going into the new year to think about what are the things that don't affect your family that they could care less if you do or don't do. Do they really care if you vacuum the floor and fold their laundry? Do they really care if you're the person that's cleaning the toilets? Do they really care about those things? Probably not. Do they really care if you are volunteering in their classroom? You guys, this is a huge one I learned from Jessica Heron, the CEO of Stella & Dot. She said to me when I was first becoming really successful, I said to her, I feel very pulled. My kids are young still. They were early elementary. And I was like the room mom for both of them. And she said, have you ever asked your kids if they want you to be room mom? Because when you go into the class to set up for these parties and to volunteer once a week in their classroom, are you really spending quality time with them? And I was like, no. And so I asked Jeremiah at the time, I think he was 5 in kindergarten. I was there once a week helping out. And he said to me, no, mommy, I'd rather you play with me when I get home from school. And guess what I learned? He would rather spend 30 quality minutes with me shooting baskets or building a Lego, tower or whatever, playing Sorry, than he would me going into his classroom. And that was taking me 2 hours once a week to do that. Now, it doesn't mean you should stop all volunteer work, guys. Please be careful and listen to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is sometimes you have to give up things in order to achieve a goal. Sit the family down after you decide what your goal is for this year and say, hey, first, if you have a husband or a wife, you need to line it up with your spouse. Like, hey, this is my goal this year. Does this line up with your goals? Does this work for us? If it does, then I want to have a family meeting and we need to talk about it. What things can mommy take off of her plate in order to achieve this goal? Can we afford to have a housekeeper so that she can clean the house while I'm working? But then you have to stick by your goal. If you are going to pay for somebody to clean your house so that you can work your Lavelle business, you better be working your Lavelle business while that lady's cleaning your house. Okay? That doesn't mean you have free time to go get a pedicure. Doesn't mean you have free time to go hang out with your friends and eat lunch. All right? You've got to be honest for your family. What are you spending your time on? Okay, I went on that a little bit long, but I really think it's important because sometimes people hear, what do I need to get rid of? And they're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to, I'm just going to stop doing this. But really, you need to think about it. It's pretty serious, and it will really help you to achieve bigger goals. All right, the next one is 2 things that will help me achieve my goal this quarter, and write those 2 things down. And then I will know my goal has been achieved because. How will you know? Will it be a rank that you hit? Will it be a certain amount of money that shows up in your bank account? Will it be a certain trip that you've earned? Whatever. Okay, walking across the stage in Fort Worth because you're a 200K, whatever it is, okay? So hopefully, you guys, this will help you. We'll put this up on the team pages on Team Empower, Team Thrive for Freedom, and Team Thrive Life. So you guys will have them. They're free for you, and I think they'll really be beneficial to you. So, Kelly, I'm going to shut my trap and send it over to you.
Okay, that's awesome. You guys, these worksheets, when they do go up, y'all take some time blocks, some time over this holiday season. If you're driving in the car, if you're traveling somewhere, and really think about it and have those conversations with the people that are in your everyday life, because I promise you, one of the things that I am going to share about is SMART goals and how to think about them. This was something that, Blair alluded to in pharmaceuticals and a lot of corporate America jobs, you do this, but especially in my pharmaceutical world, we had to set goals for each quarter. We had to set goals, monthly goals. And I grew up this way. Like it is something that my parents raised me thinking about goals. You can equate this to anything. Your Lavelle business is what we're talking about today, but you can equate this to your children's activities, to your financial goals in your house, to your exercise goals. So, but one of the things is to have a conversation with those people in your life, the people who live in your home, your kids, your spouse, you know, your parents, your friends that you hang out with, any of those things, and share that, because not only is it going to help you be accountable, but it's also going to help people be understanding when you maybe have to say, no, I'm not going to go watch the Housewives on Monday night because I'm achieving this goal. I will tell you, like, having those conversations, getting everybody on point with you is so, so important. So first thing, write down, if you're taking notes, write down the word SMART. SMART, and you're going to get this, but I just sort of want you guys, if you don't know what SMART goals are, when you're thinking about a goal, I want to be 12K by January 31st of 2019. That's the example that I'm going to walk through with you all. But write that down, because it needs to be just, when we get to the end of this exercise, it needs to say something that specific. So the S stands for specific. So is your goal clear? What do you need to achieve this goal? So an example is, I want to be 12K. That's my goal, right? It's specific in what you want to achieve. I want to be 4K. I want to be 40K, whatever it is. I want to earn an auto bonus. I want to have, X amount of dollars in my bank account. Whatever it is, make sure it's specific. It can't be, I want to be 12K. It has to have a date attached to it, okay? So the M in SMART stands for measurable. So now you know this goal. You know you want to be 12K by the end of January 31st, but how are you going to measure it? One of my favorite ways, and those of you that know this about me, I love to keep track on like a monthly calendar. And so whatever my QV goal is, every single month in this business, I have a QV goal. Even if it's, I've already achieved the rank that I want, I still have a QV goal. And I break it down. So for example, there's 31 days in the month of January. If you want to achieve 12K, you take $12,000, you divide it by the number of days. That means you need to average $387 a day on your team. Okay, so whatever it is, it's measurable, you guys. And what I love about that is when you break down $387, it's less than 2 Thrivers between you and your entire network, between you and your customers, helping them thrive for free. So I love the fact that you've got to break it down, but you've got to find a way to measure it. You've got to find a way to track it. Like Blair was sharing earlier, to be able to visually see your goals, to see it in your eyesight on a daily basis, multiple times a day, but you have to know what you're measuring. So make sure that you know how to measure whatever your specific goal is. The A in SMART, SMA, stands for achievable. So this is when you need to have those conversations, maybe with your team. If you have one person promoting on your team, you guys, you are a leader. You are a direct leader to that person. Do you know what their goals are? Because I really do believe in this business, if you can help other people achieve their goals, your goals are taken care of, right? Because you're helping other people achieve those. So ask your team, what is your goal? What is your goal? Reach out to them and ask them and help them achieve theirs as well. So this is achievable, is where you're going to need your support. It's where you're going to need to have those conversations with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, and say to them, I know when I left pharmaceuticals, I knew that I needed to make X amount of dollars a week to be able to leave a very substantial income. I knew it, and I wasn't at that point yet. And I said, this is what I need. And I went and I had that conversation. And I said, this is what I'm sacrificing. I'm sacrificing TV. I'm sacrificing going out with girls' night for specific until this goal is met. But I had those conversations with people, right? So when I did say no to something, they weren't like, well, what's wrong with Kellie? Right? So make sure that you know how you're going to achieve. The other thing that I will say to you on this topic is achievable is, we're going to go back to the example of 12K, 2 new Thrivers a day. What are you specifically doing? Okay, so I think about that goal and I say, how many reach outs, how many new friends, how many follow-ups do I need to do a day where I can average a PPA of 10, a PPA of 12, of 8, of 15, so I can achieve this goal, right? So breaking it down and measuring it. So you're measuring your QV, but are you measuring your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever your goal is, may not be enough. It may be perfect. You have to decide that. But the cool thing about that is that you can go, 10, 8, 3, 2, 1. You can make those numbers. I know for me, my goals are large. They are big. And so I have to increase my follow-ups, increase my new friend requests, increase my living room locals, increase being in front of people, talking about the Thrive experience. Going to these holiday parties, are you going in with the idea of, okay, I'm going to meet 2 new friends, I'm going to connect with 2 new people, and I'm going to become friends with them on Facebook. I'm going to invite them to my next living room local, my next open local that I'm going to. So these are all things that need to go into that SMART goal, okay? So the R in SMART, S-M-A-R-T, stands for relevant. Okay, so is this relevant to your life? You know that when Blair opened it up and says, hey, when my kids are in school and we're retired, I want to be traveling the world with Ryan and seeing my team. So whatever you are talking about specifically now is hitting 12K by January 31st relevant to your family. Okay, I bet it is, because you're going to not only earn a car, a bonus for your family. There are so many other things that can happen with these goals, but they have to be relevant to your life. I will give you an example of when I was earning, when I came out into pharma and was earning that, it was very relevant because my family needed the income. I personally wanted the time freedom, and I knew if I didn't make this work, I wasn't going to be able to have that. I was going to have to go back. So it was extremely relevant to me. It was extremely important to me, not only to me, but to the people in my life. So make sure whatever that goal is, that it is relevant to your family, okay? And then the T, the final thing, is time bound. So one of my favorite quotes, you guys, is a goal. This is written on my refrigerator. This is like how I truly raise my children, is a goal without a plan is just a wish. And you have to have time on your goals. Like, you can't just say, I want to be 12K. No, I mean, that's great, but that's a wish. Without it being smart, without it having a time on it, it's just a wish. It is not an actual goal. So have a time. And at the end of this entire thing, your SMART goals, you have to have an affirmation that you're going to say. Every single morning when you get up, I am happy and grateful that I am 12K by January 31st, and I am willing to give up TV to make that happen. I'm willing to give up, late nights, and I'm willing to give up sleeping in. I'm going to get up an hour earlier. Whatever it is that you can make relevant, that you can achieve, do that. Another tip I will give you guys, every time I set these specific goals and these SMART goals, I love, and Paul Gravett said this to me I don't even remember when it was, but I've heard him say multiple times, is get 10 sticky notes, just your basic sticky notes. We use them everywhere, right? And write out whatever your goal is. I am 12K by January 31st. Put them in 10 different spots in your house, on your refrigerator, on your mirror, on your car dash, on the door where you walk out, at your computer. Put a screensaver on your phone with the goal that you are achieving, right? Because it's a constant reminder. Like Blair said, you're seeing it all the time. And here's the thing. When you achieve that goal, what are you going to do to go celebrate? What are you going to do? What is it that means a lot by working so hard? Because you do want to have that. You do want to say, there are specific things. There are things that I personally want to purchase. And it's not that I necessarily can't afford to purchase. It's because I've put a goal to it. There's 2 things I really, really, really want. And I set a goal for myself. One of them was 18 months ago. I will not allow myself to go purchase that item until I've achieved the goal. And so being disciplined about that, because I know I will achieve it. And when it happens, I know exactly what my reward is for it. So making sure that you have that, you all, and think about whatever your goal is, walk through the SMART sort of algorithm of doing it. And that's not a Lavelle thing. That's not a Thrive thing. That's just a goal setting thing. And you can do that with anything in your life. So That's what I got, Blair.
Awesome. No, that was great. So guys, we'll give you both those sheets like we said. But I really want you to think about that and really take some time over the next few days and really dissect everything that you just heard on here today, because this will set you up for success. And this isn't something that you do at the beginning of every year. Okay. And if you've ever, this is one of the books that we've been talking about lately, and I really highly suggest you all get it. It's Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And the whole point of the book is small steps that you do, things that you do will compound over time. So one example is if you decide to take out eating bread at dinner time for the next year, okay, that will compound. You'll probably lose some weight, right? Or there's the person who doesn't do that, and over time, each year, they're noticing they're gaining a few extra pounds. Well, guess what? Over 10 years, that's 100 pounds. So it's things like that. So it's just talking about how things will compound. So that's why I believe in quarterly goals. You got to stop and reassess again. What is my big goal for the year? Am I doing the things along the way that need to get me to the big goal? So every quarter, you're going to refill this out. Why? Because that's going to help you to reset your mind and yourself and get you back on track. The idea about all those sticky notes all over your house is 2 reasons that's important, guys. Number 1, it's important because it gets your subconscious to believe that you're going to be that. And your mind never wants to be right. That's why affirmations are important, because if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm never going to get there, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough people, I don't have the right group, blah, 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 all that negative self-talk, guess what? You are going to do exactly what you're telling yourself, because your brain does not want to be wrong. But if instead you're saying, I am 12K by this date, I am going to hit auto bonus by this date, I am successful, I am worth hitting this by this date, your brain will reset itself. The second reason it's important is it will remind you everywhere you go around your house that you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. So when you're off doing the wrong thing, you'll get back on track. When you don't feel like calling and following up with those people or reaching out to those people or getting onto some new Facebook groups and meeting some new friends in Facebook or going to a networking event, you'll see that sticky note. It will remind you to get busy again, to get on that, because you have a big goal you want to achieve. Okay, so that's why those are so important. And that leads right into next week on Wednesday, December 26th. I'll be doing a Zoom at 8 p.m. all about vision board. And so obviously you need to set the goal before you even get your vision board made. If you don't know what your goal is, if you don't know what you want to have, what your vision is for your next year, then it's not worth even making a vision board. They're not just to be pretty and colorful and look at and smile. I promise is not what they're for. So set these goals this week. Take some time to really go through these sheets, really work on them. And then you'll also see I'll put up this really cool sheet that this is how prep for my vision board. This is what I do before I do it. Because now I've filled this out. I know what my goals are. I know what the top 3 things I want to see happen with my family over the next quarter, top 3 personal things, and top 3 things. Oh, this one's for my kids. It says school. I'll put that up so you guys can use it with your kids too. But the other one, oh, I printed 2 of the same. The other one will say work or business, I think, okay? So it'll say family, personal, business. So you can write down those goals once you've decided them. This breaks it down, a little bit more intricately. Oh, I just said that weird. Like smaller, deeper, obviously. Then this will be what you'll actually put on your vision board so that you remind yourself, okay? So we'll share all of those graphics up on the team page. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions or you get stuck on your goals, reach out to one of your leaders. We're all here to help. Oh, you have a question? I see a hand going up. Are you waving or you have a question? Donna, you have a question? No, she's just waving. Okay. All right, guys, have a great day. Make it a great day for others. Thanks, Kelly.